My guest this week for Hidden People is Armine, but you are better known as Sarko Meene. That is your pen name, we would say, if you were an author. And we are at the American University of Armenia at the Akian Gallery, where you are having an exhibition of your paintings, which are so interesting, so fantastic. And this particular collection is called, if I'm not mistaken, The Beautiful Monsters.
Yes.
But before we talk about the paintings and your style, because actually I've seen your paintings around Yerevan at the different establishments, and I was really taken away by them because you have a very interesting concept.
It changes.
It changes,
yeah.
That's right. I'm reading here your biography. It's not a biography, but
no, it's not.
In place of a biography, where you say this is not a biography of Sarko Meene that you are expecting to read. And certainly when I'm reading it, it's not what I expect to read. And you say, what does it matter who Sarko Meene is? And Sarko Meene is just a girl. And I'm not going to tell you what I have accomplished, not in the arts, not in anything else. What matters is that everything I have done brought me today here. Well, Armine, this isn't going to work with me.
Okay. I have to get honest now.
You have to. We want. Yeah. We. First of all, you were born in Armenia.
Yes.
In Yerevan.
Yes.
In Yerevan. You studied painting at school?
No, not in school. I was a tennis player actually for 16 years. A professional tennis player, which took me to America for 8 years. I studied arts there, but not just arts. I studied philosophy, psychology.
Were you painting as a little girl? Was it something you enjoyed doing?
I was. Well, my grandfather was a writer, and he was, all his friends were painters and writers, and he would take me along because he thought of me as someone who would continue arts in the family.
Yeah.
And yeah, he thought I'm most like him. And my parents are doctors, and my brother's a businessman, so...
You're completely in a different world. And do you think that your grandfather exposing you to his world, did that impact you as an artist?
Absolutely. And he taught me everything I know about art and life, and art is life. I think art is the only means you can express things that you can't in other ways. So he was writing, and I was writing too back then, and he really liked what I wrote, but I was at a loss of words most of the time, so I started
expressing yourself in other ways.
Finding new ways. I love music too. I have many passions, and that is why I think my art changes a lot, the forms of it and what I express, because it's moved by an impulse, not this is art and I'm supposed to paint, but one day I might sing. And so I don't like having a biography because
it's constricting.
Yes, and having a biography for an exhibition, it's also making people to judge you by what you have done, but not what they see. And I want
there's also the element of mystery, of being mysterious, of people not knowing who you are. And we see elements of you in your paintings, and that's how you want to be known. But for me, I also want to know what inspires Armine. What is it that evokes those feelings that one day you want to paint, you know, a woman with flowers on her head, and why do you call the exhibition
Beautiful Monsters?
Beautiful Monsters. Why do you see them as being monsters when they're actually so poetic for me? When I look at the image of the woman sitting, kneeling, and then the flowers coming out of, you know, her spine and her head.
Yeah, and
so why
this one has even goosebumps as the flowers, like, you know, they come up, and because they're in love and hugging each other. But they are called monsters because they don't have a head. It's flowers instead of a head. Obviously, it's a monster. And I'm sort of mocking the words, because beautiful and monster, something that can be beautiful. Well, when I painted this one, the first one, I posted it online and I wrote a beautiful monster is still beautiful, but a beautiful monster is also still a monster. So a lot of the things that we think about are very see, I'm at a loss of words again. That's what I
we
paint.
give you a paintbrush. It's okay. Okay, no, that's fine.
You're influenced by the word. Your emotions are influenced by the word. If I didn't call them a beautiful monster, you would look at it and you would give it another name. So.
Sure, sure. I mean, just to get back to what I was saying earlier, I was at a coffee shop in Yerevan and there was these paintings on the wall. And I was so struck by them because it was the same painting, the same image, duplicated in different sizes and placed strategically on a wall that it just, you know, you're sitting there having a coffee and you're, you know, doing whatever, but your eye keeps going. So you have an image, I think if it is a girl in the wind, or it's called The Wind, yes?
Two winds.
The Wind.
Two winds.
Two winds. So, and it's like, for me, looking at that image, it was of this, there was a loneliness almost for me when I saw that. And yet, why do you do that? What changes in the context of the story or the image that you've put on canvas or paper or silk or glass? What does the size do? Why do you do them in different sizes, the same painting over and over again?
Well, repetition is gives me the sense of eternity. Let's put it that way. And when I opened that exhibition, my thought was I want to make the best out of one thing. If there is one painting, I want to make the best out of it. So even here, you can tell, but there is repetition here too, because the small ones are blown out and the colors are changed, and one is on glass and one is on silk, but it's the same painting. So I repeat because everything repeats itself, and everyone's life repeats itself. And there is a lot of philosophy and psychology that I put into it, and I want to give people, but I don't want people to see what I saw. I want them to see what
their own,
they see.
Yeah, sure.
So
sure, because you know, I often, you know, just growing up and going to different places, going to different cities, being exposed to art. When I look at a painting, for me, it's a very personal reaction that I have to that painting, and whether that painting is worth $25,000 or $25, I might pick the $25 one because it spoke to me somehow. So it's not even about the value, but it's about the story you tell. It's about the emotion you evoke in the person who's standing before the painting that makes it special, I think. And we know when we walked in, obviously the big ones capture your attention. And I, you know, one of the ladies here was saying that you like a lot of natural light. And we can see this one is on glass, and then the light is coming through it and looks completely different from the one that's right there, and it's actually the same painting. Why do you like the natural light so much, as opposed to being in another kind of gallery where there's no windows and there's specific lighting set up for the paintings?
Maybe it's my own fear of closed spaces. I don't know. I paint only in natural light. I don't paint at night. Everybody thinks I paint at night, but I don't. I paint most of the time. I paint in nature, in a park if I'm in Yerevan, or mostly I paint in Dilijan.
That's right. You have your studios in Dilijan.
Yes.
Why?
It's just I go there and I stay alone for a long time, and kind of takes me away from the reality, and I get more in tune with myself, and I can take care of myself.
Yeah, you need that solace and that being alone and away from chaos and commotion and voices.
And especially, it takes away from reality.
How does your family feel? I mean, you said your parents are doctors and your brother's a businessman, so they're very technical, scientific.
Yes.
Mathematical. Their brain functions in different ways.
Actually, I am too. That's the thing. I don't just paint, and I don't let my paintings just to be there. I try to make the best out of them, and I don't feel that it's wrong to commercialize art.
You don't. Of course not. I mean, you commercialize in the sense.
Commercialize in the sense I have paintings on iPhone covers and on
but
clocks.
Isn't that? I mean, look, you can be Vincent van Gogh and then cut your ear off, but at the end of the day, when you're living and you want to market and you want your creations and your art to reach a wider audience, is that frowned upon by people, you think?
Well, in my philosophy, it's not. But a lot of people take art as a very sacred thing. I still think of it sacred when I print it. See, this is a print, but the small ones are original. They're done by my hand. So when you come in, you see a print, and then you walk around, and you maybe the small one takes away your attention more.
That's right. It does actually. It does actually, because as I came in, I saw the large ones, and then I started walking toward this the area behind you, and there's the small ones, you know, with the big matting and the frame, and I actually paused in front of each one because each one sort of took my breath away as opposed to the bigger one. It's amazing. It's lovely.
Yes, and that is the whole idea, because a lot of things are judged too quickly, and people have to take a step back sometimes and pause for a second and then make a judgment, because everything is just so rapidly. Yeah. And the public opinion is very valued. You know, you see something big, that means that's more valuable than the something small. So,
Dilijan, you said you paint, you write, you sing. Are you now at this point in your life, in your milieu, are you where you want to be right now, or do you see other areas you would like to explore?
There is always other areas that I want to explore, always. But at the moment, because I am in Armenia and I want to be here with my family, I think I am where I want to be. But I have plans
at this particular moment.
And I always think that the now is the most important thing. So I try not to dwell too much on my dreams and try to
figure out what's going to happen in the next year.
Try to live in the future, because the future doesn't exist, and I wrote that in my biography. So the past doesn't exist, and the past is past, it's gone, and the future doesn't exist. You don't know what's coming up, so it's best to stay here now.
Well, I hope you continue staying in the moment, and I hope you continue exploring the many sides of Armenia or Sarko Meene. Thank you for giving us the chance to try and understand your unbiography that you wanted so much for not to tell. But thank you for giving us a little window into your life, and you know, all the best of luck to you, and really beautiful paintings. Thank you for letting us appreciate it as well.
Thank you.
Where have you had shows?
Like so far in Armenia, but I have planned exhibitions in Italy. Okay. Great Britain. USA.
In the coming next couple of months, or the coming year? I think. Will they be solo shows, or?
Yes.
Really?
Solo shows. Yeah.
Okay.
I have had joint exhibitions in New York, but everybody is coming up with new ways to show paintings.
Which is how?
The one in New York was showed on screens, so it was digital.
Oh, no kidding.
So
the work you sent in files, and then
yeah, I didn't have to send a hard copy. Okay. Which is a cheaper way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah.
No shipping costs.
Yeah. I had in Miami that way too, but I always forget to say the joint exhibitions. I'm very selfish in that way.
It's okay. You're an artist. As I said, you get to say whatever you want usually. And most of the time you get away with it. Okay, so then you have ones in Italy and Great Britain.
Yes.
Very
and
cool.
then USA, but not in just one place.
In several. Okay. So do you have like a, I don't know, the art world, do you need to have like an agent? Do you have somebody helping you, or
I
you have
do
contacts?
have to, but so far I'm doing it myself because I can't find someone in Armenia, so I'm...
It's hard to get shows, to have a gallery to show your work, right?
Yes, it is, because there are so many artists, and actually the one in Florence, I won that exhibition.
Okay.
It was, it's Premia Ora, I guess a group. I don't. It's a company, and they announce exhibitions from time to time. And I was printed in an Italian magazine, and my biography was the same. I just wrote, "I do not accept any kind of biography," and there were people who had their biographies pages long. And I was among the 40 winners for solo exhibitions, and then there were 100 more for joint exhibitions, but I was in the top 40.